Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome James Adams to the lectern with his speech, Richmond Station. Richmond Station, James Adams. Thank you.
Easy conversation. We all have to develop it, every one of us. We would all love to have it. In fact, I think many of us actually come to Toastmasters because we actually find it difficult. Why do we need it? It's vitally important to building relationships. You need to meet people. You need to be able to talk, become a competent communicator, which in fact is an objective, the primary objective of Toastmasters. You need to be able to network, to build friendships for business, to definitely needed to go home for Christmas and communicate with family safely. You need it to build important and valuable, emotional, fulfilling relationships in your lives and in all of our lives. Why do people have difficulty with it? Those of you who've seen me give a series of speeches last year will realise that our behaviour, communication, talking, approaching others is a behavioural process. We have difficulty in certain behavioural processes. Some of us are shy, some of us are not. Some of us have great difficulty talking, others of us can never shut up. So you know what particular category I was in and what made me join Toastmasters. If you don't, you will be by the end of the speech. So there are deep reasons. There can be the personality typology and psycho-emotional residue, meaning difficult experiences. Have you been brought up in a culture that says children shall be seen and not heard, as was my generation? There's not a lot of encouragement to speak up and talk. If every time you did speak or attempt to communicate, you were cut down, ridiculed, made stupid. That was a particularly, and women weren't allowed to speak, they didn't have anything to talk about at all anyway. I know one woman whose older brother used to say, "You're not worth talking to." That doesn't do any good for the development of your communicational skills. The point here is, in order to overcome them, you can either take psychotherapy or you can join Toastmasters, which is pretty much the same thing. Because either way, you have to face your fears. Remember, all growth takes place outside your comfort zone. If you're outside your comfort zone here, then you're in the right place. So the question then is, how? The essence of it is that there are 4 essential levels. If you break these things, and I do hope this lecture doesn't break down, it's getting old. And you all see that? The first level is small talk. Small talk is, I think a day, isn't it, mate? Yeah. What are you doing here? This, that, the other. See what was on the footy? That the tennis game. Common events, the weather, it's small talk, okay? The next level you go to is called fact disclosure. So, I was sitting at home watching the cricket today. You watch the cricket? So, well, I'm in town for a conference. What are you doing here? Why did you come to Melbourne at this time of year? We go on to the next level is, so you're talking about facts. So do you live in Melbourne? Where do you live in Melbourne? Next level you go to viewpoints and opinions. So, what do you think of Julie Cloud? Didn't he do a good job? That new guy that they've put in charge of the council here in Melbourne, do you know anything about him? I don't think it's a good idea to have these police officers jumping out behind trees and doing an easy sting on people, as you you all know what the easy sting is. At this stage, we're expressing viewpoints and opinions. You're getting, we've got to be very careful.
Take the first 5 minutes then.
First 5 minutes, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, thanks. And the next level we go to is expressing personal feelings. So, as we do in this present, what happened here shortly is we're going to do a demonstration, and we want to monitor and see that we work through these 4 levels. The question then is, how do you do this? When you're talking to people, take a genuine interest. Has anybody read How to Win Friends and Influence People? Yeah, fantastic book, isn't it? Just incredibly popular over many, many years. It is simply a matter of being sincere. It follows a corollary of that is you make sincere observations. Really, really care about people in front of you. Take an interest in them. Every person, as Mother Teresa said, every person who walks away from you should feel better for the experience. Become a good listener. If you ask questions, listen to the answer. How many times you meet someone and they introduce you on freedom and you go away and say, what was his name? So, listen. And if it's important information like that, repeat it to yourself. Ask open-ended questions. Open-ended questions usually have things like, well, how do you do that? What is it all about? Where do you go? So how, what, why? Ask things that are open-ended so people have to fill it in. These are the basic techniques. There's another technique called, it involves creating rapport, but it's complex and it's sophisticated, and I don't have time within the context of this presentation to discuss it with you. We're going to, at this stage, what we're going to do is go into a demonstration. And I have chosen a partner in the form of the outstanding Toastmaster, Mr. George Randall. George is going to come up here, he's going to be my partner. George and I will act out a scenario called Richmond Station. George, thank you so much. You're on Richmond Station, right here. What will happen here is I'm going to come up and I'm the person who has to be the one who's initiating conversation. I've got to move through those phases. And George is probably going to steal the show, but that's what you expect. I think it's Toastmaster. So you've got to watch what we do and see if we move through a reasonable progression as shown here. Excuse me, mate. Yeah? So, I'm new in town. I'm into the tennis. And I'm staying with friends at Hyatt. And I'm not familiar with the trains. Which train goes to, which train would take me to Hyatt?
I don't get the train much myself. There's a board just round the corner there you can check. I know it's not this station. Sorry, not this platform.
Not from this platform?
No.
It's going to be difficult. Is that your normal train?
Well, usually get the car, or sometimes get the tram because I'm pretty much in and around the city, really.
Excellent. So what car was the road today?
No.
So, you listening to the tennis?
Well, occasionally watch it, yes, but I think tennis is really a game you're watch rather than listen to.
It does. It is much better. Look, I can't. Speaking of listening, I notice a little accent. You're not born in Scotland by any chance?
Well, that's pretty good. Most people say Ireland, but yeah, we did one.
No. What part of Scotland are you from?
Near Glasgow.
Near Glasgow?
Yeah.
My grandmother, my father's mother, she came from the Orkney Islands.
Oh, really? That's quite
Do you know the Orkney
That's
Islands?
quite far from Glasgow.
Well, you know where they are.
Yes.
Which way round did you go? You go around the west or get the train across to...
I think I'd advise you go straight up the middle, it's quicker.
Straight up there? It's rough, isn't it? On top? Scotland? I mean...
Well, yeah, you may have to go around a few mountains. Typically, you'll be alright.
So how long since you been
Oh, quite a few years now. 30 actually.
You must be very young when you came here.
Oh, now I'm getting worried about you. I think we'll probably, my wife and I probably stay, we'll be here 30 years.
Now you're married then.
Well, after 34 years, I think I'm done all right. Yes, sure.
How many kids you got? What's the old they go? That's how many you got from the back.
So, is this a quiz?
Your own candid camera. Thank you, George.
You're welcome.
That's lovely. So, what we have to do now is engage you a little bit and ask you, how did we go? Did we actually move through the processes? Was it? Yes, Paul?
I was going to say, small talk probably wouldn't be the first thing you engage in when you're approaching somebody at the station for directions. So, if you're in a party or something like that, you'd probably go through that stage. Yeah.
So, did we effectively, or did I effectively engage him in a conversation, draw him out a little?
I've got a little greedy, I think, James. This is where we realise you're on the wrong platform. You jumped into the fact disclosure quite quickly, as you said. It might have been nice to have said to him, you would tell him, fantastic weather we're having, and I had the trains on time today, or something like that. But you jump from facts into viewpoints of opinions quite fluidly. It went quite well, I thought.
So,
I was quite comfortable with that. I think if I'd had more small talk, I would be a little bit less comfortable. Because I could see then that what he was trying to do was to make conversation.
Yeah.
And it was probably, if it had been, so I felt quite comfortable with that approach and the speed of that.
thank you. The point here was it's totally ad-libbed when you're doing this exercise. There was nothing prepared other than, as I came in here tonight, which was a bit late in the exercise, I asked George, would he fill in this role for me? Because I had no idea where he's going to go. It's a great exercise to think on your feet. It is also take the principles, practice making conversation with people. You can actually have a lot of fun for yourself doing it. Thank you very much.